this is the AutoCAD webinar. As we said, we'll be taking a look at AutoCAD 2D and AutoCAD 3D. And thanks to each and every one of us for making out time out of our busy schedule to be here this morning. James, Hanu, I really appreciate you. Oh, sorry, Shadia. Sorry, the Lord use you. Okay, so right now we'll be taking a look at the outline. So one is meet the facilitator. So who is the facilitator? And then we'll take a look at why AutoCAD, project samples, practical session, and the training course outline. And if we want to go further, we have to keep on learning. As you know, we are all students of knowledge, so you can enroll for the masterclass, and then we have a question and answer session. So now the facilitator is an alumnus of the University of Ibadan, so where I studied agricultural and environmental engineering. I'm also an Oyster Tech alumnus. I attended Oyo State College of Agriculture and Technology, Igbora. I'm a member engineering for change, a data scientist, and an altruistic lover of God. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Yusuf Okunlola. This is my personal email. I'm sure you've been receiving mails as regards this event via this mail, and here's my contact. You can reach out to me via phone call or WhatsApp in case you are blocked on any of your project or research work. So now, why AutoCAD? So why do we need to make use of AutoCAD? I'm sure we must have come across draftsmen who utilize their hands to draw. So, but AutoCAD actually makes drawing easier for us. So it enables us to draw and edit 2D and 3D models easier and faster than we can handle with our hands. So one of the benefits is easy edits, faster production, and better accuracy. I would love to rush through the slides so we can have a better time working on the practical session this morning. So the application areas include architecture, automobile industry, this has to do with cars, machines, and the likes, the aerospace, the civil engineering, in terms of building and construction, and interior designers, mechanical engineers. You don't just go to the workshop and say, just give me a shaft over there. There has to be a drawing that the milling guy, the guys that are going to work on the lathe machine, to ensure that the shaft is being drawn to specification, actually find someone what's width. All right, so this is the AutoCAD splash screen. I'm gonna be working on AutoCAD 2019. So in case if you are yet to get AutoCAD installed on your device, you can as well visit Get Into PC. So I'm going to type it into the into the chat box, getintopc.com, and search for AutoCAD there and download. You can download 2022, which is I think the recent version. So here's the user interface. We have the application menu, the quick access toolbar, the drawing tools, the ribbon, the help window, the view code, and then the status bar. Here we have the cursor. So once we get into the training, you will see a sneak peek of this. So architectural application, as I said earlier on, for your building constructions and designs. So importance of drawing, it's gonna help you save time, save materials, and even stress you when it comes to supervision on the site. Because say for instance, a standard door is the height is about 2.1 meters by 0.9 meter. So in case if someone is just putting a 3-meter door there, you have to question it. Okay, in this design, how far with this specification is everything met to standard? So this is one of the benefits. And for interior design projects, you can actually have a vision of what you intend to get, so as to save your time, save resources that you need to work on the project. So here's a project sample. I'm sure for as many that have seen the last AutoCAD webinar, you must have come across this project sample. So on the left hand of the screen we have the hand sketch, and also on the right hand we have the 3D model, which was drawn with AutoCAD. So that's a great work that has been done there. All right, please. This is another project sample of a greenhouse dryer. So this greenhouse dryer is currently in use at present at the University of Ibadan. So this is the complete 3D model. I'm sure you love what you're seeing. And then we have the orthographic projection. So this is the plan when you are looking at it from the top, and then this is the side view when you are looking at it from this side, and then when you are looking at it from the front this way, this is what you will have. So please permit me to mute this gentleman.
Yeah, this again too.
Okay, so thank you. So now let's delve into the practical session. So before that, if we have any questions, we can unmute ourselves and we ask. Okay, James, you have a question?
I don't know if this thing is applicable to a chemical engineer.
To a chemical engineer?
Yes.
All right, that's great. So as at yesterday, I received a message. I don't know, do you have any knowledge about ChemCAD?
I've heard of it, but I don't really know much about it.
Okay, so as a chemical engineer, I would love you to please explore ChemCAD, so we can have a discussion after this call. Because I was seeing a call that they needed an engineer or a technician who is versed with ChemCAD and can facilitate a training. So, but as at now, I'm thinking of taking it up or not, but because my hands are really tied at the moment, I haven't reached out to them. So please try and see if you can work up with that. Okay, but the knowledge you're gonna gain here, I'm sure it's really gonna be applicable to that software. Any other person with any question? We'll be taking a look at the workspace setup. We'll create line drawings, create solids, and dimensioning. So I would even love us to work on a solid today. So let's delve into business. Okay. So now this is our AutoCAD web interface. So how do we work around this interface? If you want to get started with a drawing, you can click here, and then you're gonna see samples of templates that have been prepared. So here are recent projects I've been working on: Ugano Sheller, a Maze Sheller, and the likes. So this is the application menu that I have to the top left corner. So you're gonna be seeing the groundnut sheller. Oh, due to Google Meet, what is it called, codes and the likes, functionality, so it seems you will not be seeing this, but just follow with the mouse. So to start your drawing now, as we said, I will be having a workspace set up. So you click on start drawing. So now it has launched a 2D page for me. So now we have the tabs. So this is the application menu up here. We have the home menu, solid. We have different kinds of menus right here, and then we also have this thing that is moving, the crosshair. This is the crosshair. So it allows us to pick our tools and draw with respect to the angle or region that we want. And this is our command menu. This one that is at the base here, like typed into, it says type a command. So here we have our UCS icon, which directs us that, okay, are we drawing in the Y direction, which is the vertical, and then the hex, which is the horizontal. And then we have our view cube right here. As you can see, it's pointing to the north, south, east, and west. And in case if you want to view in 3D, if you should just click on this, this is the top view. That is, we are taking a look at the plan from the top. So if I should click on this edge now, do you notice that we now have the view style in southeast isometric? This is south, east, and then isometric. So in here you have the z-axis, you have the y-axis, and then you have the x-axis. Are we following? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hope I'm not too fast. So, sir?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So, let's see. All right. So right now, let me return back to the top. So as I said, that we're gonna be so now we have the y and then the x axis. So this tells us that we are drawing in the vertical, and this is the horizontal. So now this is the 3D modeling workspace, but I would love to switch back to the 2D workspace, which is the drafting and annotation. So I'm coming to the top here and I click on drafting and annotation. So the workspace is going to change. Now you can see that it has changed. So this is the 2D. And one thing I always advise is before you start your drawing, you need to set the workspace. So how do you set your workspace? So number one, you see I'm zooming out of this workspace now. As you can see that I'm zooming out. So it's just a grid which is endless, I mean the drawing space. So for you to set it so that you can have your drawings visible, you try to set what you call the limit. So I'll come to the command line and type limits, L-I-M-I-T-S, so limit. So it's asking that I specify the lower left corner, that is the origin. So I'll type 0, 0. I'll press my enter. The next is specify upper right corner. So the default here is saying 12,9. So let me say 10,8, and I press my enter. So upon specifying the limit, I need to zoom all so I can have a view of my set workspace. So I'll type zoom on the command line, zoom, I'll press enter, and then I'll select all, or you simply type A, which stands for all. So now it's already generating the model. So you'll notice that the UCS icon was somewhere around this spot before, but now it has moved here. Can you see it at the base here? So if I should type Z enter, which is zoom, and I press I select all. So that is it. So now we've already set our limit. But you know, just like if you are working on Microsoft Word, you also have to save your work. So how do you save your work? Just by simply pressing Ctrl S. So let me press my Ctrl plus S key. So it's asking me that okay, I should save my drawing as I advised in the earlier version of this webinar that held in July, that you should always save on your local disk. So I'll come to my local disk, I'll select a location. So I'll be selecting AutoCAD webinar. So upon selecting the AutoCAD webinar, I will pick okay, this is September 17th, so let me say training drawing, drawing. So that's what I'm saving it as. So you notice it's gonna ask you files of type. So because this is AutoCAD 2019, so it's gonna save as the previous year. So but if you want others to have access to it, you should optimally select lower versions. So I'm going to select 2013. So and you can decide to update the sheets and view the thumbnails, and then you click on save. So you'll notice that at this top edge right now, you can see that it has changed from drawing 1 to training drawing. So we are good to go with our workspace. We've already saved now. So let's explore certain tools. All right, so I can come up here to this draw bar here. There are so many different tools to draw with, starting with the line, polyline, circle, arc, and a rectangle. So as I said, AutoCAD helps you to what? To make faster production. So let's start with a line. So I've already picked my line. Say for instance, I want to draw a line of say 100 millimeter. By the way, before we draw our line, we know that precision is of optimum importance in drawing. So first thing first, we need to set our units. So how do you set your units? You go to the command line, you type units, and then you press enter. So upon pressing enter, it's asking you the type of the length, so you leave it as decimal, and then the precision, is it to 4 decimal place? So let's leave us to 1 decimal place, and then the units to scale inserted content. So I'll be selecting millimeters, you know, since and then it's asking for the angle. So which angle type do we want to work it? So I'll just leave it as decimal degrees. You can have degree, minutes, seconds, radians, surveyor's unit, but I'll leave it as decimal degree, and I'll click on OK. So right now that we are good to forge ahead, so let me pick the line and say I want to draw a line of about 100 millimeter. You'll see that the crosshair is asking us that we should specify our first point, that we are entirely on the workspace do we want it to be. Recall, just like your graph book, you know, it has, if you are plotting a graph, you say x-axis you have 5, on the y-axis you want to specify the point of 10. So also let's try to specify say 5, 10. So that's our first point. Then I'll press enter. So as you can see where it is now. So now this tells us that if we take a look at, if we can count these boxes, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's in coding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5, and then this box is 10. So either ways you can decide to do the calculation, but this is AutoCAD. We are less concerned about bringing practical maths here right now. So we've specified our 0.5 and 0.10 on the, what is it called, on the grid, but you can see that we want to draw a perfect straight line. So instead of me to be, you know, moving my hands up and down like this, there's a tool we can use. So if you come to the toolbar at the base, it's called Auto. So it says restrict cursor orthogonally. So once I activate this now, you'll notice that my lines are now perfectly straight. So I can decide to say, okay, at 0 degrees I want to draw a line of say 15 millimeters. Now the line is already set. Okay, let's make this a rectangle at once. So I can decide to say, okay, by 7.5, which is the width, and then this is a O snap. So as you can see again, I don't have to stress myself upon seeing if the ruler is straight or not. Upon using the O snap tool, you can see that I have a perfect 15 millimeters. But I should click enter, and I can just join it to this. So with this, I've been able to draw a perfect rectangle with lines. Do we have any questions at this junction? Let's take questions. No question. All right. So we've explored how to make use. Please mute. We've explored how to make use of lines. So let's take a look at circle. So I'm sure we all know that a circle has either a radius or a diameter. So clicking on this circle right now, so it's also asking that I should specify the point for the circle. So if I'm coming towards this axis, I'm sure you can see this green line over here. This tells us that that is the origin of the y, that's the boundary line for the y-axis, and then the red line here is the boundary for the x-axis. So if I should bring my cursor here, it's telling me that I'm moving negative, and if I should bring it here, it's saying that this is positive. So let me specify a point, say 9, and then comma, you can press comma or tab, comma 15 to be the point, to be the center of my circle. So AutoCAD sees that point and picks it by itself. So it's asking me to specify the radius of circle or diameter. So we can decide to say let's specify radius, say 4. Let's specify radius 4. So in other words, we have the circle right now. In other words, this is diameter 8. So let's also explore, we are going to dimension all this actually, so you can just be noting it down that okay, we drew a circle of radius 4, and then we drew a rectangle with line, which is the length is 15 and the breadth is 7.5. So we are going to use that dimensioning to confirm if this if what we actually drew are accurate. So going next now, let's take a look at rectangle. So I can come here and pick rectangle, or simply go to the command bar and type rectangle. So as I pressed R, E, C, so you can have your rectangle, click on it. So it's asking that you specify the first corner point. So you yourself, if you are drawing and you are not drawing to precision, you can just say okay, I'm just picking a point by proxy. So I can just decide to say okay, let me just select this point and I intend to draw. So now it's asking that we specify the other corner point. So let's say now as I'm dragging down, this is giving me negative on the y-axis. So if I should decide to move up, you can see the positive on the other side. So let me say 10,8. So now this rectangle is rectangle 10,8. I would love us to take a look at something now. If I should fence on this, you can see that we are having a rectangle, everything is being joined together. Whereas though this is a rectangle, if I should fence on this one now, do you see that we are only having 3 lines that have been selected? This tells us that what, this is a line that is being drawn, a rectangle drawn with lines, and this is a rectangle function itself. Can you see that? You see there's a difference. The 4 lines are joined together, while over here only 3 lines are joined due to the fencing I made. So it's appropriate that we lay these things to heart even as we go further in our journey. So let's explore the modify tools. So for the modify tools, we have the move, we have the copy, we have the rotate, you have the offset. So instead of you know, we already have a circle of radius 4 and we need a replica, so we don't have to start drawing again from the start. All we just need to do is what, we copy. So how do you copy? Just come over here, or you type copy on the command line interface, and I just click my copy and I say select the object. I press enter and it's asking me that I should specify a base point. So I can decide to pick the center point and say okay, I want to go west, or I want to go east. So either ways, so let me just bring it towards to west, and then you press your enter and then you're already done. And if you decide to move this circle, you can just decide to click on your move button, click on the circle, press enter. It's asking you to specify the base point, let's utilize the midpoint here, and then let's just drag it up. So you can also decide to specify the displacement of the circle. So here let me specify 5. So now you can see that it has already been displaced from this point up here. So we also have many other tools that we can't explore today. We should say we should go on with that. I propose this meeting to be for an hour, so we can have time for other engagements. So let's just take a look at the dimensioning, as I said. So here under the annotation bar, we can actually dimension these objects that we've drawn. So once I click on this dimension, it's asking me that, okay, which type of dimension do I want? Is it angular dimension? I'm sure as engineers we understand this, baseline dimensions, aligned or distribute dimension, but let's just select one that we can have easy work with. So let me just come here and select the linear dimension here, and I want to dimension this rectangle that we drew with a line. So I'll specify the first point and also the second point. So I'm bringing it out down. You can see that, wow, this is really small. Let me zoom in. So we have 15. Do we recollect this, that the line was actually set to be what, 15 millimeters? So you can see that this is highly correct. So let's also make for this other side. You click on the linear dimension tool again and select these points also, and then you drag to the left. So let's check what this is. This is 7.5. That's fine. So for this circle, let's also come here and then you select radius or diameter. So I'll be selecting radius. I'll click on the circle and then I'll draw it out. So this is saying radius 4. Do we see that all these are correct? But how do we tend to, this is too tiny. If we decide to plot this, how do we tend to bring this to practical life? So this is one of the beauty of AutoCAD. I'm going to type in a command called dime style. So that is dimension style. So everything is just going to be automated at once. So clicking on dime style now, it says this is the dimension style manager. Can you see my screen? All right, that's fine. So upon coming here now, I'm going to select the standard. I'll come to modify because I want to modify this current dimension style. So upon clicking on modify, we have the lines, symbols and arrow, text and fit. So but I'm not going to work on the change the size. So all I'm just going to do is to make use of scale. I'm sure we all know the work a scale does. Say for instance now the whole map of Nigeria, you drawing it on a sheet of paper. Actually in real life you can't find Nigeria on a small sheet of paper, say A4 for instance, but because you've drawn it to scale, and then you'll be able to locate certain points that, okay, this little area, say 100 kilometers in real life actually represents 0.1 units on this map. So that's the work of what? Of a scale. So I'm just going to come here and select the overall scale. So here it's been set at 1, but let me set mine to say 5 and let's see the effect. So otherwise, let's come to these primary units. Here at the primary unit, you can see that the unit is what? Decimal. You can decide to change the precision from 4 decimal place to 1 decimal place. You can see that this has already changed from 5. It has now changed to 5.1. If I change it to 4 decimal place, you see that it's really wide. So let me change to 1 decimal place. So everything that we are seeing here is what is going to actually appear when we go back to our drawing. So let's come to the text. So the text has already been set by the color, and also you can decide to choose ISO standard. So the symbols and arrow, how do you want your arrow to be? Should it be closed field or should it be closed blank, and the likes? So you can decide to also check which one you want to choose, and then the line options. So but what I actually did here was come to the feet and change the scale from 1 to 5. So let me click on OK, and then it has the modification has been carried out, and let me click on close. So now can we see that we have a better view of our dimension now? Before we were having 15.0 in 4 places, 7.5 7.5000, and then 4.0000. But now you see that it's actually what? Very neat. So with the help of the Dimension Style Manager, we've been able to what? Access how dimensions can take place. So for instance, let's also dimension this other rectangle that we drew, the original rectangle itself. So I'll select the linear dimension again. I will specify the first point, the second point. You see this is giving us 8, and then the other side I would also specify the point, and I have 10. Wow, is this great? So do we have any questions? Hello, I'm sure we are still there.
Yes, we are there.
All right. Okay, so you can just save your work. All right, so now we've taken a look at the workspace setup, we've created line drawings, so, and then we've also taken a look at dimensioning. So let's take a look at solids. The beauty of your 2D works is when you actually see it in 3D and be like, wow. So this is how everything is actually going to translate. However, if you want to move from 2D to 3D, for 3D you actually need a basic knowledge of 2D, because that's what is going to help you, that's what you're going to build on. So let's move to 3D now. So now for our 3D, let's just make use of this workspace. You can come to the Visual Style Manager here, and the view control, select Southeast Isometric. So now you can see that now our drawing is somehow lying on the X and Y plane, and then while this is the Z axis, that actually calls for what? Our height. So now let's explore some 3D objects. So also you recall I said that the workspace was currently set at 2D, which is drafting and annotation. So I would have to move from this drafting and annotation workspace to the 3D basics. So I'm switching the interface now. Do you see that we have something different here now? So all through we can decide to what? Draw a box, and the box is gonna be in the length, breadth, and height. It's gonna have 3 axes. So let's select a box. So I've selected this box right now. So it's asking me that I specify my first corner. So let me just specify a random first corner. So now let's see what we can do. Let me zoom in well so we can see. It's asking for the dimensions. So let's just call these a cuboid as equal sides all through. Yeah. So let me just specify, say 10. You can press your tab or comma. So let's see if comma works, or you press tab. So I'll press 10 again, and I'll press my enter. Now the X and Y axis, which is the base, has already been formed. The third thing is asking for now is what? Is the height, as you can now see. So as I'm moving up, the dimension is increasing. So let me just specify my 10, since we said we want to draw a cuboid. Enter. So now we have a cuboid. But aren't you amazed that wow, this is just full of lines all through? Why are we not having a cuboid in the real life scenario? Okay, so to have a cuboid in the real life scenario, we're gonna come to the view controls again. So we're gonna change the view style from 2D wireframe to realistic. So the custom virtual styles, we have the conceptual, hidden, realistic, shaded with edges, wireframe and the likes, but we're going to work with realistic. So how is it going to look like in real life? So in real life, do you see what we have? We have our cuboid ready, equal dimensions, all true. However, you can, just like the masterpiece I showed us the other time, the architectural work, we can decide to say, okay, we want to work with this rectangle, that we want to have it come up as a cuboid right now. So all I just need to do is select this and copy it. So I'll type copy, and let me just pick a point. Let me bring this towards this axis. Let me bring it far. So now this is a rectangle that's already been drawn in 2D. How can I see that I convert it to a 3D solid? So let's make use of this extrude tool. So this is the extrude tool. I'm going to apply it to this rectangle, and I'll press enter, and then you see right now, let me give it a height of say 15. Now can we see that there's a difference? So this is actually coming from this 2D diagram that we have here. So also, if you want to draw a cylinder, you can decide to draw a cylinder yourself. So let's click under this box. You see that we also have other options here. So let's just take a look at about 1 or 2 of them. So let's pick this cylinder. So for the cylinder now, it's asking that we specify the center point of base. Okay, so let me pick this center point, and then it's asking that I specify the radius or diameter. So seems the first circle we drew was with radius 4. So let me just type 4 here, and then it's asking that I specify the height now. Let me say give me an height of 15, and it's now ready to go. We are ready to move on with it. So now, so you can also decide to say, okay, what I've drawn is actually what it is. Yeah, so also for 3D solids, you can also apply the modifications like copy, move, and offset. So I'll go to 2D and just take a look at the offset bar, because that one is a very useful tool for us, so we don't draw things twice. So let's try to move this cylinder from here to this center point. So I'll click on move, select the object, press OK. It's asking that I select a point, so let me select the center, and you can see I'm moving it right now. And I'd love us to note that I can't move it freely because the orthogonal function is what is on. So if I should decide to switch it off now, you can see that I can actually move my mouse anyhow. So I can decide to just say, okay, let me just drag it here, bam, and then you have it that way. So let me switch to the 2D workspace and show us how an offset actually works. So take for instance, okay, let's go there, let's switch back to 2D. So I'm going to switch this view back to the top. So you see that we are having the top views right now. So take for instance, let me just draw a rectangle with say 30 by 20. Okay, 30 by 20. Okay, so this is the rectangle. So if I want to draw another line, instead of missing it, I want to draw another rectangle that is going to be inside this rectangle with equal distance, between this rectangle and this line that you see here. So I'll just select the offset tool. So where's the offset? This is the offset tool. If I should click on the offset, and then it's asking me that which distance do I want to give. So let me just say distance 5. offset distance. Now next thing is to select the object. So I'll click on this rectangle, and then you see that we have another replica of this rectangle internally here, and once I click on enter, you can see a new rectangle inside. So I'm sure if we've done a TD, you know, we usually draw a borderline and stuff like that, so I won't go into much details here. So on AutoCAD you can just decide to use this offset tool. Alright, so let me draw another rectangle, or let me just copy this and then reduce the offset distance. So let me pick the copy tool, select this object. I've selected it, so let me pick this base and just bring it here, press. So let me zoom in on this. So let me pick the offset again and say it's asking that I specify the offset distance. So let me say offset by, say 1. Yeah, let's try 1 millimeter. So if I should click on this and I say offset, do we see this looks like what? Our borderline. For as many of us that have done technical drawing, you know, I'm sure those days we measure to what is it called, 20 mm around your drawing sheet. So you can also confirm it that, okay, what's the, you know, let's confirm the dimension of this drawing. So the original what is it called, length is 30. So let's confirm these inner rectangle, it's on, you see now that is what is 28. That tells us that what is a distance of 2. Actually you don't dimension this way, so you're gonna learn about that one, dimensioning practices. So what I can just do is just pick up, you can just decide to specify what's the distance between this point and this point. You can see now that I have a what, 1. So this is a very good way to what, to dimension. Drag this one out. So this is a very good way to dimension. So I have one across board. So if you subtract 1 at this side, you subtract 1 at this side, you eventually get what, 28. So I'm sure we've been able to cover ground. Wow, this is 11:55. Actually we started late, that was about 11:10. So please, you have me the honor of sparing more time. So let's see how we can print our drawing. So how do you print your drawing? You know, you having everything here now on this sheet, how do you present it in real life such that you can present it on blue or black ink, or even if you want to give it color? But we wouldn't be taking a look at layers because our time is far spent. You can take a look at that in the previous webinar. So I'll come to the layout section here. So now you can see that everything we drew on the model tab is also coming here. So right here we have our worksheet here, our paper that we want to print on. So but nevertheless we need to make modifications. You know, we don't know if this is A3, A4 or A5, or as the case may be that we are having on board here. So as you can see, I'm still outside here. So if I should double tap inside this space, I'm now in the model space. So you can see everything that we've drawn today in 3D. So let me switch off the grid. The grid is somewhere beside down here. So you can see that we have this, but actually this is not so much palatable. You know, everything is just in shades of gray. So let me try and see if I can change this to wireframe or wireframe. Okay, yeah, since this is okay, since we are printing black and white, but however we might not be able to see this. Or let me try and see if I can just zoom in only on this box. So I will just type Z enter, and then I'll specify window, which is W enter. So I only want to see this gentle guy over here. So once I click that way, can you see that it has brought this one out only? So you can also do that for other shapes. You can decide to just be printing them one after the other, but let me just print for them all at once so we can save our time. So this is here right now. Oh, so let's just print. So we do our Control P, and then it's set as PDF. Then you press OK, and it's asking you where do you want to save your drawing. But where I initially started my drawing, so I'm going to pick that location, which is AutoCAD September. So training drawing 1 layout as a PDF. So it's sending to plotter. It's already plotted. So let me also click inside this and just plot the 2D diagrams only. So let me select the top, not bottom. Let me select the top. Okay, so upon selecting the top, let me just specify, okay, this is okay to be plotted. So you can see that we've done lots of work. So let me do Control P, and then let me save this one again. So let me just save let me name this as training drawing, and then say 2D objects, 2D objects. So let me save. So it's already been sent to the plotter. So this is what we plotted on our training for today. So okay, we have a question. Great, what an interesting class, but size this for beginners. All right, this is for people who do not have any knowledge about AutoCAD. So we still have much to view, as I earlier said. So this is one of the drawings. So let me share the other one. So I'm sure we can see this other drawing also, which is the 2D drawing. Let me zoom in. So this is the drawings. So as I said earlier on, that we still have much to unfold for today. So after our practical session, so for as many that still wants to move on, so we have the CAD Pro, become a CAD professional. We have the Masterclass, whereby we'll be taking a look at AutoCAD 2D in basics, how you can create your 2D drawings, your 3D drawings, and then how you can modify your existing 3D models. And one of the beautiful things about this training is that you have one-on-one access to the facilitator. Come rain, come sunshine, when you're stuck on your project, you can always reach out, and we have guided assessments and access to course materials worth over 50k. So the pricing, as you can see on this spot, for beginners, it's 15,000 naira. If you want to become proficient in 3D, 25,000, and for as many that do not have a 2D knowledge and want to implement both together, so we are giving that away at a discounted price of 35,000. So if you are interested, the registration link is displayed. And also, so here's a pic of the masterclass training, the course outline, the introduction to AutoCAD, how you can draw to precision, edit your drawings, and even work with layers. So if you want to see how a layer works, we recommend that you take a look at the previous version of the AutoCAD class, which link will also be attached when this recorded session is being shared, and how you print. So for the AutoCAD 3D, how you work with your UCS icon, which is your user coordinate system, because if you are drawing objects in 3D, some sides are irregular, while some sides are regular. So how do you work with them? How do you refine your view? How you import, how you modify existing drawings to suit your purpose. All right. So now, this is a sneak peek of one of our masterclass sessions with a CAD participant. So here you can see that it was this is a live Google Meet session that we had, to cover for AutoCAD training. And even these are projects that you saw here. You can see it here. So this is the 3D model here, and this is a what is it called? A sectional view, a section dimension, section dimension excuse me, project of this project. And here's a testimonial that we have from one of our participants who is a graduate teaching assistant. Even when he got to Kogi State Polytechnic, where where he's serving our fatherland, NYSC, for as many of us that are Nigerians on this call. So even had to get there, they were still using, pencil and paper to draw. It was like, what is this? We need to be able to spice of our learning. And he decided to also enroll in this class, and he's doing well, taking his students. So he actually got an offer to be taking AutoCAD at Kogi State Polytechnic. So do we have any questions? Just for a limited time sale, so I'm gonna be giving out 5,000 naira discount on all the plans, and this is just gonna be limited for say 2 weeks, and you have the option to pay instrumentally. So for this AutoCAD masterclass, it's gonna run over 5 weeks, 4 hours contact session every week, and then you also have a project. You also have a dedicated project to yourself that you will work on. All right, so this is going to be the end of the class. We started 11:10, and this is 11:12:09. We're able to keep to time. So do you have any more questions before we call it a day?
No question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. So you can further reach out to me. So thank you so much for being on the call. So as soon as the recorded version is available on YouTube, it will be shared with us. Thank you so much, and do have a great weekend. You can ensure you reach out to me via WhatsApp in case you're stuck. My contact is here, +234 810 617 9714. Reach out to me via phone call or WhatsApp. That's my WhatsApp line also. Thank you for coming around.
Thank you very much.
God
I
bless
appreciate the
you.
knowledge. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.